my gosh. Oh, my clutch is burnt out.
Go fast.
What's up, y'all? This is some footage from Stroud Lake in the OCCRA series. I forgot to start my GoPro on the starting line because I think those first race jitters got to me. I haven't raced in about 10 years. So already off to a bad start on the YouTube section on here, but hopefully I'll make up for it. Little 2-for-1 special right there. So this track was extremely dusty, if you can't tell already by the video, and I wasn't expecting it to be this rocky. My brother and dad had raced here before, and they said it was a little rocky, and I was expecting like Stillwater rocks. But man, this place will beat you to death, and I was completely maxed out on softening my rear shock, and it was just not a good time, I'll tell you that. So we're gonna have to revalve that. The sand was pretty manageable, wasn't too bad, but the rocks, man, there were some softball-sized rocks that would just roll around, loose softball sized rocks that would just roll around and just really mess you up, especially with all that dust. You couldn't see anything, and it made a hard time trying to follow somebody. If you run up on somebody, then you kind of lose vision a little bit, and you lose a little time because you're trying to be safe. The track overall, I think it was about 8 miles long. I was running 22-23 minute lap times, which is really good. It's a longer track, which I enjoy a lot better than the shorter tracks. Like I said, it gets really dusty in some areas. Like you can see, I'm running up on this guy a couple times, and it'll get dusty and I'll fall back and I can't really see, or I'll just kind of mess up. And I think that might have been a little bit of where my clutch burn up came from, because he's a good rider, but I have to use my clutch a lot more, and I'm just feathering it and just kind of revving it out, letting him know I'm there. And then I hit a dust patch, and then he pulls away from me because I slow down, because it's kind of silly to follow I think it's pretty silly to follow super close to somebody in these conditions, especially on this track, because the rocks are just, you never know when one's going to reach out and grab you, and you're not ready for it, and then you're on the ground. And this is the first lap. You know, you got plenty of time in the race, and he's not even in your class. Just take your time, be patient, don't do anything stupid, and jeopardize your entire race over somebody that's not even in your class. see that I can start to stall the bike a bit more, and I think at this point, I think it was after my second stall right there that I knew something was up. I could feel the clutch losing. I could feel the clutch losing its resistance, and I was just pulling it in, and it just got really, it was just nothing there, and then kind of like halfway in, I could feel it starting to grab again, and I knew something was going on. I was gonna try to be a little easy on the clutch at that point, but I think just the race nerves and being out front really got to my head, and I wasn't used to it, and I just kept pushing just how I usually do. I told myself I wasn't going to use the clutch as often, but you can hear me just wringing it out a little bit. Another thing too, you'll probably hear my front brake squeaking a lot. I'm using a ton of front brake, which is unfortunate because it's the sandy track and it's just going to wash your front end out. And because I just wanted to stay as far away from my back rear brake as I could, because ultimately that's what's going to lock up my rear tire and stall my bike. So I was really trying to focus on using that front brake more than anything.
gosh. Oh, my clutch is burnt out.
So at this point, I was kind of in panic mode. I knew something was really wrong, especially on that last stall when I was just pulling in. There was no resistance, and it just wouldn't even start for a second. I had to let it sit there.
You're kidding me. Ah. No.
So go away, cool off, come back again. And y'all are all probably saying or thinking, "Oh, why don't you just shift down?" I finally figured that out and I did it. But I had it in my head so bad that second gear was way too rough or way too aggressive. I have it on the aggressive mapping. Racing is an experience that you learn the most from, and it's a bad time to learn, but it's when I feel like you learn the most important lessons. Because I'd ridden at Stillwater, I'd ridden at Draper, and everything was fine in third gear, but every track is different and circumstances vary. So I took it as a learning point. Because I mean, I already had it in my head that I was going to stall the bike a lot, and I have to be using the clutch a lot. Because first off, I'm on a motocross bike, and the flywheel weight is the size of a penny. So I just thought I'd just feather the clutch the whole time, and we're gonna do some work on the bike. We're gonna get it figured out, and we'll make it a lot more doable.
Come on.
Man, I really thought this race was over too. I thought that clutch was not going to really ever come back, and that was it. My first race back, I burnt my clutch out. And rewatching this footage, I think second gear, yeah, it's a little aggressive, and we could tone it down a little bit. But man, it's in the perfect meat of the power. I think third gear was just lugging a little bit too much and just bogging out. Man, that second gear, it could lug a little bit and not be too bad, and then it can really get in the meat of the power and just take off. And you can ring out second gear on these 350s. I'll tell you that. downside of being in second gear is that the RPMs are still pretty high. Yes, the engine brake works well, but it binds up your back end, especially on these rocks, and makes it way more rough than it has to be. It is pretty much impossible to ride without a clutch. I mean, it would still come back, but every time I would use it, it was like a tick off my health bar. And then, like your stamina or whatever in a video game, it would slowly come back. So I had to be very careful and diligent when I used it and where I used it. And let me know if you want to see me posting the full-length hour-long videos, the raw footage of the race. I can do that too. I can do like a race recap, and then I can just post on the side the raw footage of the full race, or whatever my GoPro decides, however long it decides to last. Well, that's pretty much it. I ended up doing 4 laps. My GoPro could only take about almost a full 3 laps of the race. I ended up winning the race, and there's not much else to look at anyways. On the last lap, I was just eating dust pretty much the entire time. So yeah, like and subscribe, and have a good one.